Welcome everybody back to an episode of Wire2Wire Sports Podcast. I'm the NFL genius, Gene Walzak. In the upper left corner, we got Kent State's own, Cleveland's own, College Cuttrell.
Gentlemen, how are we feeling? I'm feeling a little bit more somber. Yesterday's game one didn't go the way I wanted it to go, but I know you guys can feel where I'm coming from there with that. So a little bit somber, but at least you guys get a chance to right the ship tonight.
I have zero confidence in the Sixers righting the ship tonight without Joel Embiid. It's frustrating, man.
You beat the Celtics a game without Joel. You don't think the group can rally?
I think they can. Maxey, Edgecombe, great players. The Knicks always play down to their opponents, but they're playing really well right now. And for whatever reason, the Knicks play the Sixers very, very well. So it'll be interesting how it plays out. But I'm not fired up about Sixers basketball tonight. Not fired up at all. Upper right corner, Scholastic Shally, Uncle Shally, Mr. William Shawcross.
Oh, no. We got Frozen Bill.
Oh, I thought he was sleeping.
Oh, there he goes.
Hi, Bill. You're up.
I think he's frozen again. Forget Bill.
All right, well, when you get rolling, listen. What'd you say?
I'm not enthusiastic about the Sixers.
Well, you're not
JoJo playing because his tummy hurts. It's not gonna be a good look.
Yeah, he's not playing tonight because of his hip and his ankle. That was the two injuries that are listed for him being out tonight. It sucks.
It's going to hurt as much if you're not playing on the floor all the time.
I think that the cheap shot by Mikal Bridges had a little to do with it, but let's get in hot wire. Cottrell, why don't you get started?
All right, let's start off here with some Derby talk. So we previewed the Derby last week here, and to nobody's surprise, nobody's superfecta on the show hit. We didn't have the winner here, but Golden Tempo gets it done. They win the Derby, and it was just announced today that they will not be running in the next one's the Belmont. They won't be running at they won't be running in the Preakness. They'll be running at the Belmont. So I'm not sure if you guys had a chance to watch or if you saw it on replay, whatever the case may be. But what were you guys' thoughts on the Derby? I thought it was pretty exciting.
I thought it was exciting. I don't ever like watching a sporting event like the Derby when my horse doesn't win. So I end up I'm serious. If we're being honest, I think I was so happy, and he was there for a little while.
He was in there. He had enough to keep us entertained because I was with you, and I picked So Happy too, and he was in the top three basically until the last straightaway, and then he just got dusted.
But I don't care if I don't win. So my thought process of it is, oh, cool, a horse won. Now, what I will say is this is the most annoying part of it is I think there should be a thing you sign that if you win the Derby, you have to race in the Preakness.
Agreed.
That's stupid.
Yeah, it's 6 of the last 8 years now that the Derby winner is not coming back to race in the Preakness, which sucks because this is the biggest 6-week stretch for horse racing in the year. This is where they, get their notoriety, get their headlines, and get all their press and everything. And if you have a horse running for the Derby come Belmont, that's what you want. Like you already alluded to, they already announced they're going to skip the Preakness, come back for the Belmont, which sucks. I understand that the 2-week turnaround is tough. That's why they always said the Triple Crown is one of the hardest things to win because it puts a lot of stress on the horse. But horse racing the last, it's always been a big money sport, but the last 20 years, it's really exploded. And these horses are just huge investments to people now. They would rather, win the Derby, not bring it back. And, they're already going to have stud fees out the wazoo because it's a Kentucky Derby winner now. So they play it safe. I know there's a lot of discussion I read today about putting 3 weeks between each race now. They'll move the Preakness back a week and then move the Belmont back a week. So there'll be 3 weeks in between each one to help encourage all the owners and the horses to come back and try to at least run all 3 races. So hopefully that happens. I think we'll see that in the next couple of years. But I think as of right now, I think the crazier thing is I think as of right now, it could change. But as of right now, I don't think any horse from the Derby is in the Preakness right now.
Is that real?
I think so.
I don't understand that concept. There's the 3 biggest races of the year. And if we're being like honest about it, like why does the horse need off? Like what are they doing? Is it rest and recovery from running a quarter mile? Like I don't understand. Like
I mean, that's ultimately what it is. It's about like the wear and tear essentially like on the joints of these horses and things like that. Essentially, they want the horses, which from a humane standpoint, it makes sense. They want these horses to be in as best shape as possible, like following their racing career essentially. So like they're saying like the wear and tear, they want to get them ready for the Belmont. They want to, have them ready to rock and roll there. But you also got to think like these horses aren't coming back like next year to compete in the Derby again. So like they're talking about like keeping not putting too much stress on these horses. One, they want them to compete well at the following race there, but 2, they want to maintain the longevity of these horses as well.
Okay. That sounds.
It's what they say. It's what they say.
It's 3
you
races.
you got to realize the money. Like for you win the Derby, you cannot win another race, not run another race again, and that horse will pay for itself in 2 years in stud fees. You go rush it back to the Preakness and something tragic happens and break its leg or something like that. They're going to put it down on the track, and now you have a Kentucky winning horse that's been put down, and they're trying to avoid all that stuff. And you got to realize it's not, these horses don't stand around all day and then just go out and run on race day. Like they have to like slow. They're like track athletes. Like they're always running, so like they need time to rest. And they're big ass animals, dude, that run 30 miles an hour for a mile and a quarter straight. Like it's not like they're just going out for a jog.
I guess. I mean,
I'm with you though. I would love to see them, like it should be manned for the winner at least to go out and compete the next round.
I'm not.
I agree. It's just gonna be hard to tell somebody that's put $1 million into an animal what they're gonna do with it. It's they've raced this year. They can come back and race as 4-year-olds if they don't retire them, but that's gonna be rare. Breeders' Cup Classics and stuff like that. But that horse is worth a couple $1 million now, easily. More than it was before, the Derby started. So, I hate to say it, but it's the dreaded, business decision. But I do think if they move it back, I think that's going to help. That gives the horse a full 3 weeks to recover. That 7 days is a lot, and I think you'll see a lot of horses turn around and go for it. I mean, it's the years where you have a horse that wins the first 2 legs, the Belmont becomes a huge thing, like a huge thing. And now already this year, you've kind of already devalued the Preakness and the Belmont because you're not going to have it, which sucks.
All right. Don't care anymore.
Bill, anything else Derby? Gene's over it. So happy they let us down. They made us so sad.
No, I mean, yeah. I mean, I wish I would have hit the $2 superfecta because it's about 190 grand. But they call it the most exciting 2 minutes of sports for a reason. I do agree with Gene. I'd rather watch one of these damn things win and have my horse win and have my bet win. But I still think it's exciting. I think it's great just watching. It's hard to watch all these horses come down in one big pack. You really don't know who the hell's who at one point. And then when they get across the finish line, you just hope it's your guy because you don't really know. But I always enjoy Derby Day. I look forward to it.
I look forward to it at 6:34. Like that's the extent of me giving a shit about the Kentucky Derby. Like you got 20-25 minutes of my like, all right,
you're in.
Go on. Let me make sure I'm in front of a TV.
I feel that.
Just telling the truth. I don't lie to you.
No, I definitely it's definitely one of those things where you're like, I gotta let it build. Once you actually get there, it gets more exciting. But from something I think that's exciting to something that doesn't excite me in the least. College basketball, NCAA has, pretty much agreed that starting next year, the NCAA tournament will increase to 76 total teams. So you
You
won't
got
just
some
have,
5 more playing games.
yeah, so they're going to ultimately have 12 games. The first two, like the first four that you normally see, those are going to turn into 12 games during that time period.
It's
Like
just gonna be
Tuesday.
it'll be basketball all day, Tuesday, Wednesday now, just like Thursday or Friday.
Yeah.
That's
So
essentially what you're gonna get.
you'll have 6 games on Tuesday and 6 games on Wednesday there with obviously 24 teams playing there. And wanted to get your guys' thoughts on this. Obviously, I made it clear. I think the NCAA is royally screwing this up. I do think some of the smaller schools will be happy because, of course, as you guys know, you win a tournament game, you get money to your school and things like that. So, from a school's perspective, they're like, hey, we absolutely should be expanding it because it gives us more opportunity to generate revenue. From the NCAA standpoint, 100% makes sense because it's going to give them a chance to make even more revenue on the sport. But as a fan of the sport, I feel like where we were at was perfect at the 68. First four was fun. But again, wanted to get your guys' thoughts on this new expansion on the table here.
It's a crock of shit.
Yeah.
It's a money grab. That's all it is.
Mhm.
That's all it is. They're gonna be able to raise the advertisement fees for because like you said, you're gonna turn your TV on Tuesday now. There's gonna be a game that tips off at noon. That's what it's gonna be. You're gonna have games all day Tuesday, all day Wednesday.
I don't think so.
I I don't think it's I don't think it needs to be expanded because we're talking about like Cottrell. Like I'll be honest, this all becomes a push from the bigger teams that don't get in every year. That's where this all started. Like I don't need to see Oklahoma, who's 21-14 and 4-12 in the Big 12. They don't deserve to get in the tournament. They don't deserve to get into the playing game. But to your point, all these teams want a piece of the money. That's what they want. Like this is all pushed by bigger conferences. This is going to help. This is going to help the MAC get 3 teams in. That's not what this is going to be. This. Mark my words. This is going to be all. The majority of these extra teams that get in are going to be all from big conferences. It's going to be the 9th and 10th team from these big conferences, rather than like Miami of Ohio this year going undefeated, losing in their tournament, and then have to play in a playing game to get in, where they automatically should be in. They should be in. This isn't going to help the little teams. This is going to help the big. This is going to turn into football shit. It's going to be all about the Power 4 conferences. That's what this is going to be. I hate it. I think 64 is perfect. You already had playing games there for the last 6 or 8 teams that are on the bubble play to get in. I love that. You're gonna have a bracket now where there's gonna be slots open everywhere because there's gonna be playing games. Like it's just stupid. It's nothing more than more money for them. I hate it. Is what it is. It's another NCAA misstep. No surprise for me.
I completely disagree with you guys. I think it's going to be awesome. They're not going to have games all day Tuesday, Wednesday. They're going to do the same thing they do on the second weekend when they do Sweet 16. They're going to go 3 games, 7:08, or whatever, and then they're going to do 3 games at 9:40, 9:52, and 10 o'clock. And you're going to get 6 games instead of 2. And honestly, I think if the NCAA was smart about this, all those mid-major teams that I guess played one weekend, like opening, Thursday, put them in the play-in games. Let them all play to get in. Let all the smaller schools get the highlight and get that national attention. I love that. That concept to me is fun. I don't know why you wouldn't want 4 more games of basketball.
But why do they have to play an extra game if they have a higher net ranking than a 15-loss Oklahoma? Why does Oklahoma automatically get in?
If you ask Miami of Ohio or another one of those teams like Illinois, Chicago, Loyola, whatever, they would want to have that focus on them on that play-in game. They'd want the extra game. Like they're not going to win.
I think they'd rather have their automatic bid that they deserve.
they're
That's
not
what I
going to
think.
win the tournament. So, like, if you're not going to win the tournament, why not get as many opportunities as possible to be on TV and to play against another mid-major, which is like a very even matchup?
See, I'm not a fan of just putting the mid majors up against each other because, like, one, Miami of Ohio beat SMU. I think that argument alone is like, well, SMU is in the Big 12, so like it's not like they can't beat some of these schools, especially when
I
we're
don't
getting
mean
into
like
the
that, though, Cottrell. I don't mean like a team like Miami of Ohio. I use them as an example. I mean like
yeah.
Fairleigh Dickinson and like those teams that like the 15s and 16s that go up against the 1 seed, getting
For
them
sure.
that extra game.
So I think a lot of that is going to be what you see now. So I believe every 15 and 16 will now be playing on like just kind of based on what they're doing here. Every 15 and 16 will be playing during that time frame there.
And you guys don't like that?
No, because some of those are going to be automatic qualifiers.
I was going to say that's the part that I'm not.
Bill, let me ask you a question real quick. If you were I'll give it a softball analogy for you. Do you like now? I can't say now because you don't really like softball anymore. But like, let's just say when you liked it 10 years ago. Okay.
Okay.
Would you rather be the 1, play the 1, or would you rather have the 4-5 game and then play the 1?
If I was the 4 and I won my division, I would want to be in the tournament. I wouldn't want to have to go play another game.
I don't want to go play Duke and get the shit kicked out of me by 30 without showcasing any of my players.
That's going to happen anyway. If I'm going to end up playing Duke one way or the other.
Yeah, but I get a whole game to showcase versus like talent.
Oh, cool. Oh, did you see
the potential to lose
our playing game on Tuesday? Cool. No, put me on at 7:00 on Friday night when the whole country's watching. That showcases my team when I play against Duke.
You do both.
Not if you lose,
both, because then if I go play, if I have a bad game on Tuesday, now I'm not even in the tournament. So I went out and won my conference, and I'm not even in the tournament now because I had to go play a 15-16 game. It's stupid. These kids play their whole career and have maybe one chance to actually get in the main draw, and now it's like, nope, now you got to go play a playing game. So butt-fuck Oklahoma with 19 losses can get in and get their money, even though we beat them in the regular season. The MAC's a perfect example. Every year, there's 2 or 3 teams that should get in from the tournament. You have Toledo, you have Kent State, Miami, Ohio was great this year. There's always 2 of those teams sitting there at the end of the year, like 27-3, but only one of them gets in because they win the tournament.
So you're saying the second one wouldn't get in then?
No, they should get in, but they should get a shot to get in over. They shouldn't have to go play.
You're making this like big.
If they're ranked 40th in Ken Palm and Oklahoma's 89, why should Oklahoma get put on the 14 seed?
You're giving specific examples, and I'm
because it happens every year, Gene. That's specific. That's my argument. It happens every year. Miami, Ohio went 32-0, played a bad game in their conference, and then had to play in a playing game. And teams he said it. They beat SMU head up. SMU was 40 spots lower in Ken Palm, and SMU's in the bracket. Why?
I think that the play-in is still the bracket. I think the fact that you can get showcased.
It's not, dude. It's not.
Me and you disagree there. I think it's great for these small schools to get highlighted and showcased.
They get to technically say they made the tournament. You don't, again, nobody gives a shit who loses Tuesday night. You don't talk about that team come Thursday or Friday.
I don't talk about that team that loses Thursday night. I talk about teams that win. I mean, we talk about upsets. That happens, but it's nobody really cares unless it's a 15 over a 2.
I don't think anybody who wins their conference should be in a playing game. I think that's shit.
I agree with that, but I also think too, like, I remember, and granted, we didn't talk about them like a ton, but like Duke playing Siena, for example, like Siena gave Duke all they could handle for a large majority of that game. And, that was a game that we got a chance to, talk about like, this game was actually very competitive and, things like that. The fact that, Siena would now not just be in, like they would have to go play somebody to.
Weren't they one of the play-in teams?
Were they?
I thought they were one of the play-in teams anyway.
I know there's well, four, not four, but well,
I
yeah,
don't know if
technically
Sienna was
four
playing
16 seeds play each other. But I
because
don't.
this year there was two of them went to the 11 line, and the other two went to 16. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's how it's
Duke was the
been.
overall one. Duke was the overall one.
We're not talking about Duke.
Well, that's what he's talking about. He's talking about Sienna.
Yeah, but he's saying like you're talking about showcasing your team. They're like, so if you make Sienna play a playing game and they just have a bad night or whatever, now they don't even get that opportunity. They win their conference, they don't have an opportunity. But then again, to my point, which I said 3 minutes ago, put me on national TV on Friday or Saturday night when I'm playing Duke at 7 o'clock and the whole country's watching. There is no better highlight of your team and your school than to go play Duke at 7 o'clock in prime time. There's none. You're robbing kids of that. If you win your conference, there's no way in hell you should not make the tournament. If you want to put SMU and Oklahoma and all them in these bullshit playing games and make them earn it, fine. If that's the way you're going to do it. But that's what I said. That's not what it's going to be. They're going to make more room for those bullshit teams and then make all these little schools earn it again. And I think that's horseshit. The whole what makes March Madness great is that these little teams get in. And now you're going to make them win an extra game to earn their chance.
Adding 10 more little teams.
What?
You're adding a bunch of more little teams and letting them get in. And you're getting to play, and they're still going to get in the tournament. We're going to disagree. You keep making it like we're screwing these little teams that win one game maybe.
Well,
and I look at it like
the thing comes out this year and watch what it is.
Okay, but I'm looking at like these little teams that get the shit kicked out of them. Like we talk about Duke Siena. That's great. That's like a one-off. Out of the 8-15 versus 2 and the 16 versus 1, I think everyone was double digits except that one. So, like, yeah, I get it, but like, get an opportunity to play. Like St. Peter's versus Siena. Like to get in the tournament. Like that shit sounds fun to me. Just an opinion.
All right, gentlemen. We'll stick on the hardwood here. We'll go over to the WNBA because the W season starts this upcoming Friday. I wanted to get your guys' thoughts because now we officially know where pretty much everything stands. We've had free agents on the move. Obviously, we had the draft. We've had some trades with Angel Reese going down to Atlanta. So I just wanted to get, your guys' thought. Caitlin Clark's going to be back healthy with that Fever team that made a run last year as well. Just wanted to see your guys' thoughts and get an idea of what your outlook is for this upcoming season in the W.
I mean, I can't wait for it. I think it's going to be a fun season as a whole. I think LA is going to have a much better year. You add NECA, Dearica Hamby, Ray Burrell, one of my favorites. I think that Indiana is going to have a great year this year. Atlanta is going to be a really good team again this year. You still have, Minnesota is going to be tougher because of the injury, but you still have Las Vegas. You still have New York. Like, it's going to be a good season in the W, man. It's going to be a really good year. And you have, Dallas, they can make some waves this year. You got, Paige last year's rookie of the year. And then you add a girlfriend in there, and literally, you can make some waves this year. I think it's gonna be a fun year in the W. I'm looking forward to it. I'll be watching a ton of W games this year.
You got any hot takes and/or finals prediction?
I think Chicago's out of their goddamn mind. And if I'm being completely honest with you, I know they picked up a bunch of people, but I think they're going to be terrible. I think they're going to literally tank. I think one of the two new teams, Portland or Toronto, I think one of those teams make the playoffs. If I had to guess, I'd say Toronto. That's my bold take.
I like it.
I'll say the same thing I said a couple weeks ago when we talked about it, and Gene just touched on it for me. I think the parity that the league's going to have this year is going to make the league in whole a lot better. I don't think we're going to be at the All-Star break and be like, cool, like these 6 teams are not making the playoffs already. I don't think you're going to have that this year. I think the top of the divisions and the conferences are going to be way more competitive. I think LA is going to give Vegas everything they want in the West. I think the East is going to be. I think the East is going to be tough. I do. Stewie's another year older. I know you still got the New York thing there. Atlanta made some moves this year, and then got Angel Reese out of nowhere for nothing. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a good year. I think it's going to be competitive. Hopefully, Caitlin stays healthy. And then it's I think there's going to be a lot of good games. A lot of good games, a lot of good players. The league is just getting better and better every year. Like you're adding superstars to the league every year now. And these teams are just going to keep getting better and better. It's the more parity that there is, I think it's good for the game. I think it's good for TV. I think it helps it grow. I think it helps it become more mainstream. They keep expanding. You keep getting these big cities. You keep getting young girls to get to watch and really get involved. And you're just going to see it continue to grow and grow and grow. So it's a big year for them. But I think it's going to be a good year. See if Vegas can supplant themselves as a dynasty. My opinion, it would be the best one. Based upon everything that's going on, if they can win 4 or 5. But again, I think they have the work cut out for them this year. So I think it's going to be a tougher haul than it's been in years past.
Yeah, I mean, definitely going to be a tougher road for Vegas as a whole, but I do like the addition of Kennedy Carter. I think that adds a different dynamic to that team there. But I think we know Vegas is going to be in the mix at the end of the season. The team I'm most excited about, honestly, to see is probably the one that everybody's most excited to see, and that's the Indiana Fever. I'm very curious to see what this group is going to look like now with Caitlin back on that roster. And it seemed like they were starting to find their groove there, especially towards the end of the year. Like, obviously, they went on that run, and I mean, they were a game away from going to the WNBA finals there. So for them to have that kind of play and get that kind of output without Caitlin Clark, I can't wait to see what they look like when she's back out there on the court. It's going to make life for Leah Boston a lot easier. And then they also added Raven Johnson from the draft, who is a really good two-way player from South Carolina. So I think we're going to be looking at a Fever Aces final. And, I think if Caitlin can stay healthy all year, I think this is going to be the year where, she can compete with Asia for that MVP award, all season.
It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I think Caitlin's going to do Caitlin things, but I will say this: the W really drops the ball every year with the schedule. Do you know what the Fever's opening day? Like, do you know what their first game is? Do you know what time? Like when?
I do not know.
Okay, so the WNBA season opens up Friday night. There's 3 games on Friday night. Do you think they're on a Friday night?
Obviously not.
No. The opening game for the W is the New York Liberty. That kind of makes sense. Versus the Connecticut Sun. They're 16-point favorites. Game 1. All right.
Yeah.
Dumb.
That is wild.
Then you have the Mystics versus the Tempo. And the Valkyries versus the Storm. All right. Caitlin, Saturday. Everybody plays Saturday. More games are played Saturday. What time do you think Caitlin plays on Saturday? There's 4 games. There's 9, 8, 3:30, and 1.
Probably. Because of the NBA, I say she's probably 8. I was gonna say 3:30, but they'll probably go 8.
I'll say 3:30.
She's the 1 o'clock game. Saturday, 1 o'clock. And they put her against Paige Beckers. That should have been fucking prime time. What the fuck are you guys doing?
Is that the national game, though?
What the fucking cares?
Well, it matters. Is it gonna be? Is that game gonna be on ESPN?
ABC Disney Plus. That's what.
Yeah.
So ABC. So it's the national game.
Oh, Mercury Aces are on ABC. Sky Fire are on NBA TV. Opening Friday is on Ion, which is probably why she's not playing Friday.
There you go. So she's going to be the first ABC game. I get it, but I mean, there's not going to be an NBA game at 1:00.
I was just about to say, and I'm looking at the NBA schedule, and they got games at 3 and 8:30. So it seems like they're trying to go, you know,
Makes sense to
running
me.
unopposed to the NBA. But even still, if you were gonna do that though, like you should have got the 6 o'clock slot then. Like just throw them in there in between, like sandwich them in between the two NBA games. It makes sense from the logistics, I guess, but 1 o'clock for a prime time game, like let's be real, like you're not staying in on a Saturday at this point at 1 o'clock, like prime part of your day. Like, let me make sure I lock into this Dallas Wings and Indiana Fever game.
Just the way I feel. Just the way I feel. Who's your way too early? Well, not way too early. It starts Friday night. Give me your WNBA finals and winner.
So I'll take the low hanging Las Vegas Aces here. I mean, I just think that they're just too dominant, and then adding Kennedy, I think is going to be huge for them. So I'll take the Aces, and then on the other side, I'm going to go with the Indiana Fever there. I do think the Aces ultimately get it done over the Fever, but I think these are going to be your two top teams all season, and then they're going to duke it out in the finals.
I'm such a showman. Go ahead, Joe. I'll go quick because I unfortunately have the same thing. I think that'll be a ratings gold mine for ESPN and ABC. I think they would love it if that's what they get. I think Vegas is still going to come out of the West. I think they're too good. And like I said, I think they have a chance to plant themselves as the biggest dynasty in the history of the league. I think Indiana will give them a run though. I think it'll be a good series.
Is there a West East yet in the WNBA, or is it?
No, they still go top. Yeah.
I'm a showman. I don't even know if I believe in this prediction, but I know it would be the most fun for me to watch. Give me the Indiana Fever versus the Atlanta Dream, Angel Caitlin Part 3. Give me listen, I would sign up for that shit. Give me that. Like, listen, you have so much, and what makes it so much better is I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. The Dream's best player. Really good. But Ryan Howard. She's got like history with Caitlin. Like they've gotten a lot of chippiness. And then the Fever add the Caitlin stopper. In South Carolina, you add Raven. She's the Caitlin stopper. So I think that is going to be the most fun matchup to watch. So I'm going to predict it. Give me Indiana versus Atlanta.
I mean, Atlanta's definitely got a big three down there. So
I love Atlanta's roster. I love Ryan Howard. Alicia Gray. Listen, the whole team as a whole is going to be very good. You obviously add Angel to the mix. They're going to be a very good team.
Yep. And they add another big too from the draft. I forgot her name. I know she's like 6'6" or 6'7". So she's going to be another big off the bench there. You got Nas Hellman there as well. I love Atlanta's team.
Are you talking about Medina Okot from South Carolina?
Yep.
Yeah.
So she's going to be able to come off the bench with some size, or you can pair her with Angel there. So, I mean, I love their setup in Atlanta for sure.
Yo, you tell me that shit wouldn't be a Ravens gold mine. I think that does way better than the Fever Aces. At least maybe that's a playoff series. Like,
ratings wise, yeah.
Oh, man. That would be incredible.
Well, anything else, W, before we go over to
the last time we talk about it, we're going to talk about it.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure. We'll definitely keep up with them throughout the season. Absolutely.
No, then I'm good.
All right, well, NBA playoffs we go.
Speaking of NBA playoffs, all right, we got to recap round one for one reason and one reason only. By the way, Sixers up 3 in the first quarter. That's kind of cute, which is fun. The 76ers beating the Boston Celtics in the first round He's definitely something I did not have on my bingo card. Let me tell you how much I didn't have that on my bingo card. I didn't watch Game 6. I streamed. I didn't care. I'm telling the truth. I have a you got to be kidding me tonight, but I'm going to kind of spoil it now.
Uh-oh.
How in the world Jaylen Brown has the balls to get on a podcast and talk about the referees have an agenda? Anybody that watched that Game 7, bro, Maxey had 3 fouls and not one of them was a foul. Not one of them was a foul. You could have challenged all 3 of them. The 76ers challenged 3 plays and won all 3 challenges. Like, there was no agenda in the game, Jaylen. You got beat. And then he talked about Joel Embiid flopping. The most egregious flop I ever seen in my entire life was Jaylen Brown diving on the ground with no one touching him to pretend he got thrown on the ground by Joel Embiid. I can't. Look, I'll make something very clear. And Shally will understand this. And it's one of those things that I just always remember. They're teams that always beat you. The 76ers haven't beat the Boston Celtics in the playoffs since 1983. They always beat us. Give you an example. There was a team on Tuesday nights that used to beat us all the time. Billy John. Great team. They're still the best team in the league. When we finally beat them, the last thing we want to hear out of their mouth is the officiating, the calls, he was safe. Like, I don't want to hear that, bro. You've kicked our ass for 25, 35 years, 45 years. Okay, Chow. I hear the breath. I hear it coming to you.
Yeah. I mean, listen. I mean, I was right next to you, when it happened, and and then going through the handshake line, and everybody at that point is good game, whatever, and then of course it turns into you guys got lucky, we beat ourselves, we didn't do this, and nobody wants, to Gene's point, nobody wants to hear it. It's crybaby shit. It's you finally lost, and you lost to a rival, and that happens sometimes. I hate when people try to downplay or take credit away from a team that just went out and won. And if you watch Game 7, Boston made a bunch of runs to get back in that game every time. And I'll be honest, every time they got close, they got within 2 or 3. They actually went up 1 or 2 a couple times. I was like, is this going to be the time where the Sixers kind of don't answer the bell, don't kind of get back up off the floor, and Boston runs away with it? And they didn't. Every single goddamn time Boston made a run, somebody would go down. To Joel's credit, Joel had a couple big baskets. Maxey had a couple huge shots down the stretch to kind of break Boston's momentum. They just didn't crack. And it's, I hate to say it, it's uncharacteristic for that team. But they didn't, and they won, and they won fair and square. And Jaylen could say what he wants. I would say, to your point with Maxey and some of that stuff, I would say the officials were trying to keep Boston in the game. They're trying to keep.
Now, as a Sixers fan, I felt the same way. Contrell, watching that game as an outsider, did you feel like there was an agenda either way? Because I didn't. I was watching that game, and I'm like, man, this is home cooking, bro. This is home cooking.
For me, I actually thought the game was. I mean, of course, you get your bad calls like you get in every basketball game, but I didn't think it was anything egregious either way. I mean, of course, like some things were. You mentioned Maxey's fouls. Like, yeah, they had a tight whistle on Maxey, especially early in that game there. But as a whole, no, I didn't think that there was anything egregious that was tilting the scales there. I think the most egregious thing was the starting lineup that Joe Mazzulla decided to throw out there for Boston. You throwing in, Baylor Shireman, you're throwing in Ron Harper Jr., and then you're also throwing in Luka Garza. Like, what were you expecting to get out of those guys when they hadn't really played all series and you're just thrusting them into this starting lineup? So I mean, I thought that was very odd, and I get it. You're looking for that spark, you're looking for something with Jason Tatum being out, but how about you throw out your best lineup and just kind of rotate the guys from there? So I mean, I thought that was odd there. I do think as a whole, though, like I understand part of Jaylen Brown's message, not about the part with the officiating, them having an agenda, things like that. But the flopping side of it, I do get. But he's also, like you mentioned, he's also a culprit. Like, it's not like he's absolved from any wrongdoing here. I do think playing, and in this case, they didn't play 7 against them, but I do think playing a series against the Joel Embiid, against the Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, like, it definitely can get under your skin, especially following a loss when you know some of the stuff they kind of get away with or trick the officials into calling. So like I kind of get where he's coming from there, but at the same time, that's not the reason why Boston lost that basketball game. It wasn't because Joel Embiid was getting some phantom calls. It wasn't because the Sixers were having calls, tilted their way. At the end of the day, the Sixers were the better basketball team that day. And if you're upset or you don't think that that should have been the case because, you were missing Tatum, it's fair for you to think that. But the reality is that of the guys who were on the court, the 76ers players played better, they played harder, and that's why they won the basketball game.
I don't think enough's being made out of the whole. I mean, I think Nick Nurse absolutely outcoached Joe Mazzulla as well. But to your point, I mean, I don't know how you go Game 7 and start that lineup, and then not even so. Like then the Sixers come out and start hot, and you really don't get out of it. Like it's not like okay, like you know what? Maybe we'll throw this out there. Maybe it'll surprise them. Maybe we'll get into different sets, get a couple different matchups that they weren't expecting. Maybe and that keeps us in the game. But it was very evident very early that lineup was not going to work. Like very early, like very quickly. Like I think the second, third, or fourth positions down, Joel literally ran down the court, went to the low block, put his arm up, and then just threw the ball down to him. Like they knew what the Sixers were going to do right away, and he stayed in it. I don't think enough's being made about that. And on top of everything else, I don't listen. I am first and foremost one of the people that cannot stand how much Joel Embiid's on the ground, and I've been outspoken about that for many since we started this show. That being said, I don't know if you can find me a clip or a highlight of Jaylen Brown driving down the lane or driving the baseline in this series and not pushing off on somebody. Like I just don't want to hear it, man. Like I get it. Like it's frustrating to point to that after you lose when you started getting called for offensive fouls because you're doing bullshit you're not supposed to be doing. That's a tough sell for me, man. Like turn around and be mad at your coach. If you want, I don't know how hurt Tatum is, but like go start there. Go yell at the 3 big guys that just got abused every minute of every game that Joel played. I mean, there's a million other places you could look, like Cottrell said, for the reason why you lost this game. It's not because Joel's flopping. It's not why you lost.
All right, let's talk about the rest of the NBA playoffs. Couple 7-game series. The Magic fired their head coach after blowing a 20-point lead in Game 6 and then ultimately losing in Game 7. Detroit now up 1-0 on the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cavs win a Game 7 versus Toronto. I didn't know James Harden knew how to win Game 7s, but he won one. That's cool. It was a
James Harden made that a series. Cottrell said it was going to be over in 4 or 5, and here we are in Game 7.
5. But yeah, you're right.
But I think one of the most interesting parts of round 2 is Anthony Edwards returning, and after the Minnesota Timberwolves beat the Denver Nuggets without Anthony Edwards. Like, we got to talk about that. That can't be a real thing. And then Minnesota goes in and steals Game 1 in San Antonio against Wemby, who had 11 blocks, and 7 of them weren't really blocks. Am I the only one that's seen that video?
No, some of them were ridiculous.
He had 3 goaltends and 4 fouls. and 4 real blocks. I'm not saying I love Wemby, but like that video is bad, bro. He had 3 real goaltends that they call blocks.
The goaltending, I will say, with Wemby is going to ultimately be tough because he's so long. But
he can almost do it every time if he wants to. Like
exactly, like that's the issue there. And I think the other issue is like across the league, I feel like when others do it, like it just looks like, oh yeah, definite goaltend. But it's like you want to give him some extra leeway because of how big he is there, but at the same time, like definitely something they're gonna have to start to crack down on because some of those were definitely egregious.
Guys, first round matchups. Obviously surprised about Philadelphia. Definitely surprised about Minnesota. Denver getting knocked out by a Minnesota team without Dante DiVincenzo, without Anthony Edwards for the last 3 games. What shocked you guys the most in round 1? Was it the Rockets falling apart and Kevin Durant not showing up? Was it the Nuggets losing a series without Anthony Edwards for the last 3 games? Was it the 76ers pulling off an upset that hasn't happened since 1983? Like, what shocked you guys the most in round 1?
For me, I would have to go with Minnesota, not only because they won the series, but because of how they looked while they were doing it. You would think that once Ant goes down, like Denver would start to pick up that momentum, and especially seeing how Game 5 went, like Denver, controlled that game pretty handily there. So for the fact that they go to Game 6 and Minnesota is in firm control of that game pretty much the entire way, was definitely surprising for me. And I think, just kind of combining that into where we're at now, if you look at, Anthony Edwards being back and, he came off the bench in Game 1, and you could definitely tell that Minnesota fed off his energy because they were being smart with how they were playing them and when they were playing them. But I just feel like with him being out there, even he had a 20+ point game, but even without that, like just his presence being there, I feel like it gave Minnesota a ton of confidence. And he actually spoke to that in the press conference. He was like, me being out there just, makes everybody else feel so much more comfortable and things like that. So I would say it's not just Minnesota winning, but it's also about how they won and the fact that they weren't just stealing these games. Like they were pretty dominant, and Jalen McDaniels was looking like he's an all-star caliber player with how he looked in the absence of Anthony Edwards.
Can we give Terry Shannon Jr. some credit, man? He's finally, finally starting to come into his own. I mean, that's been forever, but like without Anthony Edwards, they got real playing time, and he really took a huge step forward. Want to give him credit too. Bill, what series surprised you most?
It has to be that one. I mean, I think I don't want to say I was totally surprised Sixers got back in that series when Joel started playing, and then having Tatum go down for Game 7, I think that really knocks a lot of the I don't want to say the luster, but it knocks a lot of the genuine shock out of the Sixers winning that game. I thought Houston, crawling back in that series and then kind of, falling apart at the end was interesting. But I mean, Minnesota beating Denver, who, a lot of people had Denver in the conference finals, and with them being full strength. And like you said, it's not like Minnesota, like Minnesota was missing their bona fide number 1 best player. And, like Cottrell was saying, it's not like they were squeaking by games. Like they were just giving it to Denver. I think, I think Denver has to ask a lot of legitimate questions in the offseason about what they want to do. We remember a year and a half ago, they fired Mike Malone and they kind of scapegoated him, and that's clearly not the issue. There's other issues going on there. So, I saw Joker just say, hey, we're just an average team. That's the way we played. That's why we lost. So, I mean, he was clearly not happy, and he put it right out there. And you got to give Minnesota credit, man. That is I don't think anybody would have faulted them for, falling, I don't want to say falling apart, but obviously losing that series when Ant went down, to battle through and beat Denver. it's a big deal. And now he's back, and like you said, they go to San Antonio and steal game one. For me, I think it's got to be that. But overall, I think it was I thought it was a really good round one. I mean, other than OKC and San Antonio kind of being dominant and just kind of, I won't say walking through, but they weren't really tested in their series. Everything else was good. And I guess, I remember even putting in the chat when Orlando lost game 6, I said they just pissed away the series. And Detroit just smoked them in game 7. But a lot of really, really good basketball, like across the board. I'm actually enjoying watching a lot of it so far this year.
I agree. Control, what's your favorite second round series? Don't say the Caps either, please.
Favorite second round series. Now that Ant's back, this Spurs Timberwolves series intrigues me. I think it's part of what intrigues me is the fact that Rudy Gobert has had a chance to play with Wemby, on the French national team for quite a while now. And so obviously Rudy Gobert is known as a really stout interior defender there. And so the fact that, Wemby struggled in that first game, like I kind of wonder, like, how much does Rudy know about, hey, if I force Victor this way, like I've been playing with him since he was a 16-year-old kid or whatever the case may be. So like I'm very intrigued by that dynamic of that series. And now that Ant is back, even without Dante, like I feel like based off of their history, because I mean the Timberwolves like are a team that has consistently, the past few years here have won series in the playoffs. Like we've seen them get to the Western Conference Finals. We saw them, win series last year. It again went back to the West. They've been in the Western Conference Finals, I believe, twice now with Ant. So they definitely have like that winning pedigree when it comes to playoff time. So now that Ant is back, even without Dante, like I do think this will really be a series. And, I'm very curious to see how Wemby makes his adjustments because, I mean, it took Wemby shooting that poorly and Minnesota only won the game by 2. So I'm curious to see like how the adjustments get made. And I think that's going to be a fantastic series moving forward.
Are you buying into the Timberwolves winning that series?
I'm not fully bought into it, but I definitely think they can make it a lot more competitive than I would have originally thought.
Okay. I still think the Spurs Thunder are going to roll in their series. I think that the Timberwolves keep the game series close. I think I already know the finals right now, like what it's going to be. I think it's Spurs Thunder. I think it's Pistons versus Knicks, and I just don't see it going any other route. I'd like to be wrong. I'd like to be Sixers Cavs. That's what I would want. But I look in the Eastern Conference. I think that's the best series. I think Cavs versus Pistons is going to be a good series to watch. I think that Donovan Mitchell needs to wake up and become playoff Donovan.
Absolutely.
And James Harden can't have 7 turnovers in game like he did in game 1. So it'll be interesting to see how everything plays out. I'm intrigued to see. And if the Sixers steal one tonight, which I don't think they will, that series then becomes more competitive again. Because then you get an extra day off. You probably get Joel back for game 3 in Philly. Then it might be a series. Sixers got to steal tonight, though. And it's 10-point dogs. I don't see it. They're up 2, though.
I will say as well, like, this is not me saying that I think the Lakers are going to have any shot of being OKC, but JJ Redick has firmly, for me, like, submitted himself as a good coach. I'm not going to go out and say he's a top 5, top 10. Like, I don't know exactly where I place him, but from an X's and O's standpoint, he is absolutely incredible. Like, we could talk about what, LeBron did in the game, how Marcus Smart played. That, for me, like, the only reason why that game was somewhat close the first 3 quarters was because of JJ Redick and his game plan in there. So, the fact that they were able to double team Shea and get him very uncomfortable and not just straight up double teaming him. It was when they were doing it, how they were blitzing him, getting the ball out of his hands. You could tell he was flustered. He had, plenty of turnovers in that one. He missed more fourth quarter shots. in that game than he did the last month of the season there. So that JJ Redick is absolutely incredible as a head coach. I'm very curious to see the chess match from that side of it. I do think it's going to be Thunder in 5, but I'm curious to see moving forward what OKC's adjustment is to Shea getting blitzed like that, because if nothing else, I think JJ is starting to throw out a blueprint for maybe the Spurs the next round, maybe for the Knicks in the finals, maybe for whoever they play down the line there. But I think JJ's done an incredible job of putting together game plans for his opponents so far this playoffs.
I mean, I guess just to be clear, Shea had 18 points and 7 turnovers, not his best game. Jay Mitchell shot 1 for 5 from 3. That was the guy that left open a little bit for those 3-pointers. He didn't shoot well from 3. And the Thunder still won the game by 18 points. I get it. It was competitive. I'm not saying it wasn't competitive. But I'll add this. One of the guys that was the dagger for Oklahoma City in the game was Jared fucking McCain. Couldn't have used him at all.
Let him go for nothing.
We got to get under the salary tax. Second apron, you fucking jerk off. Sorry, I'm done. Is it trivia? Want to do trivia? Or do you want to take one more series? We got right there. We're right there.
Sure. I mean, are we coming back to NBA after trivia?
What do you think needs to be covered, NBA, that I'm missing?
I mean, I don't think anything needs to be fully covered, but I'm curious to know. We know your conference finals matchups, but curious, I guess, where Bill thinks things stand, or also where you think games wise they go. Like, you seem like you're pretty dead set with who wins, but where do you see the series going from there, numbers wise?
I think Detroit 7. I think it's gonna be back and forth. I think Philadelphia, New York depends solely on health. So
I agree with him. I think Detroit Cleveland's probably gonna be a lot of fun. Depending on what we get, depending on what happens tonight, and then depending on what we get from Joel in 3 and 4. I think really weighs heavily on how that series goes. I think the Sixers can string it out. If he's starting to miss games already, though, that's a little concerning for me. I'd say the Knicks probably win in 6 or 7. I think they beat whoever else comes out of the other series. And then I'm sticking with, obviously, San Antonio and OKC and the other one.
How do you see it?
I got OKC in 5, Spurs in 7, Cavs in 6, Knicks and Sixers in 7.
That'd be great. Cavs Sixers would be incredible, bro. I'd sign up for that. I'd be thrilled. I do want to say this, and I want to say it out loud. I made the comment. Look, let's do trivia. I have one NBA debate I want to do afterwards. I don't want to spoil it. Let's do trivia. Then we'll go back to an NBA debate.
I already know what it is.
Yeah, you've seen it on my Facebook, probably.
Yeah.
That's fair. You probably did too. But I don't want to spoil it for the listeners at home.
To go on.
I have a fun question tonight. Fun question. And, we often do this, and we play our own agendas. This is going to be an agenda.
Oh, brother.
Maybe not an agenda. I don't like it.
It's too late. You already said it.
Going back to the NBA playoffs. Going back to the NBA playoffs. Most career playoff game losses since 1970. I'll give you a hint before we start. Nobody on this list did not play in the 90s or sooner. So there's no 70s players on this list.
It's since 70, but there's no set. Like, if they played in the 70s, they made it to the 90s type of thing.
No one on the list played in the 70s.
Okay.
No one.
Okay.
So this way, everybody, you all know the players. Most career playoff losses. Who's lost the most pure playoff games? Guys, we know Brett Favre's thrown the most career interceptions. Great quarterback. A lot of great players on this list. Great players on this list. Shally, you won last week. You get to go first.
Keep coming back to an agenda thing here. So I'm going to assume that's a little bit of a dig at Cottrell. I'm going to assume LeBron is on this list somewhere.
LeBron is not only on this list, he is far and away the number one answer. Number one, most losses. I'm not going to give you the totals, though.
Chris Paul.
Chris Paul is not on the list.
Kind of figured that with the agenda, but you know,
that would be a double switch agenda there. Be a double agenda if Dame Lillard's on this list. I'm gonna go. I'll go Charles Barkley.
Charles Barkley is not on the list.
Shit.
Go with James Harden.
James Harden, number 9 on the list. James Harden. Hang on. I'm pulling up the list so I can give you guys the exact total. I think that's cooler. James Harden has 87 losses. LeBron James, number 1 with 111. So you kind of know your range now.
Yeah, it's a lot of games, man. Jesus Christ.
I mean, LeBron's played the most by far.
I know, but I mean, still, like, I mean, the guy's won a couple of titles too, and have 111 playoff losses. That's crazy.
Yeah.
How
many games LeBron James played in the playoffs? Anyone want to take a guess?
I mean, it's probably gonna be close to 300 then.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'd say it's probably like 300.
299. He probably played 300 last night.
Yep.
I'll go Kobe.
Kobe being Bryant is not on the list.
Because if they made it, they didn't really lose.
In the early days, they lost a lot.
What?
When they three-peated? I'll go Karl Malone.
It's a great answer, sir. Karl Malone is number 3.
All right, well, if he's on there, then John Stockton's on there.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to throw him out there. But.
Stockton and Malone, 3 and 6. Malone has lost 2 more games than Stockton and played in 11 more games.
I'm gonna go with a legend.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna go with Reggie Miller.
No, nope. Not on the list.
I will go with Christ. I'll go Paul Pierce.
Nope.
Fuck.
Reggie Miller was one of the only ones that's not even in the top 25. Wow. You guys like mentioned other people, but Reggie's not even close.
Let's see who's always in the playoffs. They won a lot. They were also there a lot. I'll go with Dirk Nowitzki.
Nope. Two, guys. 6 left.
I got my next one too.
I'll go. I'll go Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan is number 4.
All right. Well, we go the Duncan route. I don't see. I don't want to throw him out there because I feel like I know. Obviously, he didn't play as long. I throw him out there. Tony Parker.
Tony Parker is number 7.
Cheater.
Hey, you got Stockton, so we're even.
Just to be clear, that was 94 to 89 losses between Duncan and Parker. 5 more losses for Duncan. Duncan played in 25 more games.
I got another one.
I will go. I mean, he lost a lot before he got there. I'll go Shaq.
That was my next one.
Shaquille O'Neal, number 10.
Wow.
On the list.
Nothing there. All right.
The last 3 are the hardest 3.
Oh, Christ.
You guys got the 6, 7 is 7 hardest ones.
The 4-3.
7 easiest ones. 4-3 shot.
Well, that doesn't make me feel good because my next guess is a pretty household name.
I mean, every one of these players is known, but none of these last 3.
They're stars.
No.
Yeah, so that takes away one of my guesses here. All right, role player. I mean, he won a lot, so I'd assume he also lost a lot. I'm gonna go with Robert Horry.
Big Shot Bob, number 8. 4-4.
What a pull.
Great pull. Great pull. 2 left. It's so funny because when you guys are describing who you're about to pick, like you said something earlier, like, yeah, well, he's been there a lot. I'm going to go with Dirk. I'm like, I thought he was going to talk about Tim Duncan. I just knew it, but you guys describe it.
I'll go Tracy McGrady.
That's incorrect.
He was one of my guesses. Honestly, I was going to say that before I said Robert Horry, but when he said not a star.
Not in the top 25.
Okay.
Yeah, not a star.
All right. I got another one for you. You mean Derek Fisher.
That is number 2. Derek Fisher has played in the 2nd most playoff games of all time behind LeBron James. Number 2 in losses.
Look at now.
Who else is on that Lakers team? Jesus Christ.
Exactly. That's why I'm just going through. If you play with Shaq, Kobe, Robert Horry, Karl Malone. Oh, no, that's one's a star. I don't know.
And Kobe's not on the list?
Kobe's not on the list.
I'll go. He's a star. Shit. I'm trying to think of somebody who just sucks what was on all these teams.
By Cottrell on the comeback trail.
I don't know if we have the same definition of stars.
I think I got my last one.
Well, I mean, what would you consider a star, Sally?
I don't know. I mean, like
I consider a star a guy that's been a first or second option for a championship team. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I consider a star.
Okay.
Like Jaylen Brown is a star. He's not on the list, that's why I used him. But Jaylen Brown would be a star. This player would not be as good as Jaylen Brown. Malone has been named. The mailman. Yes, John Suggs, they did mention Tony Parker. He has been named. We got one more shot. Gotta give me a guess.
Ray Allen.
Ray Allen is now on the list.
Steve Kerr.
Steve Kerr is now on the list. Wow, that's a bad guess.
Steve
Kerr is now on the list. He never lost when they got there.
Well, he was also a member of. He was with the Bulls and he was also with the Spurs.
Yeah, no, not in the top 50. It's 5-4. So we want to give you guys 2 more rounds. If you guys don't get it, Cottrell wins.
Can we get another hint?
It's up to Cottrell. He's up 5-4.
I'm down with the hint.
Active. I knew the hint I was giving immediately. If you guys let me know.
Okay, active.
I think it's a great hint. He just doesn't give it away, but kind of eliminates a lot.
Ooh. Could it be the guy that I used 2 weeks ago? He's definitely not a star. You wouldn't classify him as a star.
I need a guess. Let's get it.
He's still
where you're going.
He was there for a long time. I'll go Big Al.
I need a full name, sir.
What is this, Jeopardy?
Yeah.
Who is Al Horford?
Al Horford is the last name on the list. Now, my tiebreaker is simple, guys. I need number 11. And whoever gets highest I have the list up to 25. You guys will both give me a guess. Whoever gets highest.
I'm going back to Chris Paul.
Chris Paul's your guess? Okay.
He's got to be close. Fuck. I'm sticking with Kobe. He's got to be close.
Kobe Bean Bryant is number 11 with 85 losses. Chris Paul is number 34 with 62. Congrats.
Chris Paul.
Guy doesn't lose as much as you guys think he does.
Oh.
I mean, granted, the
Here we go. It's just
5 years of his career, he didn't really make the playoffs. So,
well, what happens is he has a lot of first round exits, so it's only 4 losses. But if you win in the first round, you lose 2 games. I'm serious. It's not a lie.
No, you're not wrong. It's just math at that point.
Michael Jeffrey Jordan, not on the list.
Like anywhere?
I mean, he's not top 50.
I mean, you got to think when he was getting swept, it was only 3 as opposed to 4 for the first 6.
Yeah, you're right. First couple rounds. Let's say 6. Shut the fuck up. You're gonna get swept 6 times. All right, knock it the fuck off. All right.
I'm just saying. I mean,
swept for the first 6 years. It's exactly what you heard that, right? Am I like tripping?
No, I'm just saying. I mean, you only get 3 losses for losing in the first. Because I mean, we know he didn't win the playoff series without Scotty. So the first 6 years, I mean, he didn't get out the first round.
All right, here's my debatable topic, and it's very, very. I guess it's controversial. I have 2 of them.
Oh, there's 2.
I'm going to have 2 debatable topics. Fully healthy, rank the top 4 players in Sixers Knicks series. Fully healthy, give me the top 4 players in the Sixers Knicks series. Rank them in order.
Embiid, Brunson, Maxey.
4's where I'm stuck.
Yeah, 4 is those 3.
You agree with his top 3? Is that in order?
Those 3 are in order.
Okay.
Healthy, those 3 are in order.
The 4th is where the debate is. The top 3 players are the top 3 players. I have a different order than you.
I mean, I'm sure you got Maxey ahead of Brunson.
I have Max ahead of Embiid. The fourth is where the debate happens. That's where the argument is, and that's okay.
So in the biggest possible picture, the answer is probably Cat, but I'm obviously, you guys know I'm not a Cat. Carl Anthony Towns. He's probably the answer.
I have Cat.
But VJ is. I'm a VJ fan, man. He's made me a fan. You got him sixth. I hope it's not behind Bridges.
No. I can give you my top 8 easily.
I'll say Cat. I'll throw Cat there.
Okay. Give me your 4 in order, shall we?
I mean, it's definitely my top 3.
Is that the order though?
Like you're telling me like there's nothing wrong with Joel at all? Like literally has no aches, pains, nothing.
Like going into the series, they're fully healthy.
That's what I'm saying. So like he is
100% healthy. That's why he's at 1 for me.
Have him healthy for all 7 games. The way I look at it is going into the series.
But that's not what you're asking, though.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Okay, if that's what you're asking, then yeah. I mean, if that's what you're saying, like going into the series fully, then I mean, no, Embiid's not going to be my number 1 guy.
No,
but if he's telling me he's 100% healthy all year, then
the way I position the question is walking into the series, assuming everyone's healthy, going into the series, rank the top 4 players in the series. I can go 8 through 1 if you want. If you want me to help you, I'll help you.
That would just change my order. I would go Brunson, Maxey, Embiid, and then Cat.
Okay. All right, let me give you my 8 through 1. Number 8, Mikal Bridges. Number 7, Pandemic P. Number 6, Carl Anthony Towns. Number 5, OG Anunoby. Number 4, VJ Edgecombe. Number 3, Joel Embiid. Number 2, Jalen Brunson. And number 1, Tyrese Maxey.
I know it. I mean, I know what you're getting. I don't know if I can put him over Brunson yet.
You can't, but
why can't you?
For what Jalen Brunson does on that team in the playoffs, and again, it's not to say that Maxey can't do it, but just knowing that, like, if the Knicks say, hey, Jalen Brunson, we need 30 points out of you every single playoff game that we're going to win, he's going to go out and give you 30 and hit shots in the clutch and do literally everything you want from him. Tyrese Maxey, while I love him as much as you guys, and I'm not even, a Philly person, but he is not where Brunson is. Now, your next question, I think it's very interesting, but in comparison to Jalen Brunson, like I don't think he's, and it's not a crazy gap, but I just don't think he's surpassed Jalen Brunson yet.
Just throwing this out there. This is the tale of the tape for this year. Okay. Maxey averaged 28.3 points a game, Brunson 26. Maxey 4.1 rebounds per game, Brunson 3. They were almost identical in assists, but Brunson did have the lead 6.8 versus Maxey 6.6. Maxey a better true shooting percentage, 59%. Overall offensive impact, edge goes to Brunson. Defensive impact, huge edge goes to Maxey. Overall impact goes to Maxey. Usage rate is almost identical. So that's what your tail of the tape is this year. And Maxey's 4 years younger at 25 years old. I think he's getting better. I think that Brunson is good. He's not as good as he was last year or 2 years ago. I think their trajectories are doing this. You might have them here. I have them here. That's okay. But
I mean, listen, I've said it. I don't think Maxi's at his ceiling yet. I mean,
no,
and again, and it's those 4 years matter. I mean, that absolutely factors into it because that's 4 years younger, 4 more years. He's going to get better.
2026. I don't care about those 4 years right now for two players that are in their 20s when we're looking at guys 35 plus still at the top of their game. And I'm not just talking about LeBron. Like I'm talking about like there are a lot of older players who are still
do you
highly
think
regarded
Jalen
as
Brunson
top
is?
15
Do
players.
you think Jalen Brunson has hit his peak yet?
Oh yeah, I mean he is plateauing as we speak, like right now.
I think he plateaued at the end of last year. I think that was the highest he'd ever be. This year is definitely a down year for him comparable to last year. I think that it is. It just is.
I mean, I guess. I mean, he's had over 30 how many times already this playoffs? Like I don't know if I fully agree with that, but I don't know. I mean, numbers wise, maybe it looks different. You know, obviously.
John, you still here? John Suggs, you still here? I think he's a Celtics fan. I really want to ask this question in front of him. Kyle, you here? Someone tag these motherfuckers. I want to get their opinions too. Suggs, the problem is Suggs is on YouTube. I can't tag him. Hopefully he's still here. Here's your question too. Start, bench, cut going forward. Start, bench, cut going forward. You're a new franchise, however you want to look at it, however you want to do this. Start, bench, cut going forward. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Tyrese Maxey. Start, bench, cut going forward.
I'm starting Jason Tatum. I'm benching Tyrese Maxey, and I'm cutting Jaylen Brown.
I'm definitely cutting Jalen. I think that's the easy part of this. I don't know, man. I really do think that kid turns into like just an absolute, just superstar on his way to the moon type thing. And I think Jason Tatum's already great. I don't think Jason Tatum has another gear. I don't think he's going to get better than what he is now. I'll go start Maxey, bench Tatum, cut Jaylen Brown.
Then none of us have the same order. None of us.
You hate Tatum. You cutting Tatum?
Bro, he popped an Achilles, and his other Achilles is literally hanging on by a thread. He set up in 7. What?
So now he gets arrested.
What?
Now Tatum gets arrested.
Under a year and played pretty well, dude. Like he's gonna rest. I mean,
22, 10, and 5 off of a torn Achilles. I mean, I think he's gonna be okay moving forward.
I'm starting Tyrese Maxey. I'm benching the better Celtic and Jaylen Brown, and I'm cutting Jason Tatum. That's what I'm doing going forward. And finally, the prediction I made 3 years ago has come to light. Jaylen Brown is the better Celtic going forward than Jason Tatum.
You're just fulfilling your agenda. Okay. I mean, that's all we're doing here.
I mean, that's a hard thing after you say what you want, but I mean, Jaylen had a prime opportunity to make his stake there and got lost on his home court without Jason Tatum.
Jaylen also is going to come a lot closer to winning MVP than Jason Tatum ever has.
I don't think that's fair. Jason Tatum's been first team All NBA 3 years in a row. Like, I mean, it's not like that puts you in the top 5.
Brown will be third this year. Has Tatum ever finished third?
Well, JB won't
He
be
didn't
third.
play
He's
most of
not
the year.
He's not the finalist for
Oh,
MVP.
not?
He won't
What's
be.
the finalist?
Wimby, Shea, and who are the finalists?
Joker?
It's Wimby, Shea, and
It's probably
Joker.
Joker.
Yeah.
I guess that's fair. And Jaylen Brown would have been fourth. I just think that Jaylen Brown's played better. I think he's a better overall player. I think
No,
he's
you
a better
don't.
two-way player. I do.
This doesn't without an Achilles tear. This isn't even a conversation. So the fact that Tatum tore his Achilles and we're having this conversation kind of speaks to where these two are at.
I agree.
I think Jaylen Brown's better. I think that Tatum already has an Achilles tear, and I think another one's on its way. I think that Jason Tatum is peaked, and I think Jaylen Brown is still on the ascend. He has best season as a pro this year.
Yeah, because he had the ball all year.
Hey, listen, that's how it works. That's why people think Jalen Brunson's better than Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey had the ball all year this year and outperformed them. If Jaylen Brown and Tyrese Maxey were switch teams, the Knicks would win the world championship.
Oh, that's a fucking lie. Oh my goodness.
Maxey, baby.
That's a lot, bro.
That's
I
kind
mean,
of
that is delusion at its finest.
I don't really believe that. I was just having a little fun with that one. By the way, Sixers up 1.5. I'll take it.
They're hanging.
Hanging around.
I will tell you this.
Alligator blood.
You had a lot of confidence. I shouldn't say you had a lot of confidence in the Knicks because obviously I know it's not because of them being a good team, but the way Philadelphia wins this series is that Mikal Bridges reverts back to what he's been all playoffs so far. Him having, I think, 17 in game one felt like the biggest anomaly ever. The fact that New York was shooting the ball as well as they were, like, I don't think that happens again. I think they shot 51% from three. They had it clicking. Like, I just don't think that New York.
Jalen Brunson might play more games in Philadelphia Stadium than Paul George in their career. That's crazy. It's like a home game for them. It's like a homecoming for Bridges. And by the way, if you want Mikal Bridges to play his best basketball, go to the team that drafted him while his mother worked for him and then traded him like a thief in the night and go back and play them in the playoffs. The Sixers love shooting themselves in the foot by doing dumb shit like this. Jarrett McCain, Mikal Bridges. It's just a fucking factory of stupid shit that we do.
That part's accurate as hell.
All right, let's move. Let's get into some UFC action.
All right, let me throw up.
I wasn't prepared to talk about a UFC card until about 3 days ago when someone goes, "Are you watching the UFC card Saturday?" And I'm like, "No, fuck the UFC." And then they told me he was fighting. I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I'm watching the UFC this weekend."
That happened about 7 hours ago for me. The same thing. I looked it up to get ready for the show, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna watch this."
You guys are watching to see Mr. Strickland get teed off on.
99% of the people watching this pay-per-view are watching to watch him get his ass kicked.
They are already starting. If you didn't see, Hamzat Chimaev released like gym footage of him wrestling and sparring with Sean Strickland and absolutely destroying him. Sean Strickland replied by saying he's a rat for releasing gym footage that's supposed to be sacred. Sean, I'm not trying to be an asshole when I say this. I don't think you should be talking about who's a rat and who's not a rat and what should be released and what not should be released. Like, that's not your lane, bro.
Right message, wrong.
Not your strong suit there, bud.
Listen, John, I will fully pay. I know you don't have to pay anymore, but I will fully sit up all night watching that fight just to watch that. And I'll tell you right now, I think this might be worse than the Eagles losing the Super Bowl if Chimaev doesn't win this fight. I would be devastated.
Bro, you're not wrong. I don't know if it's worse than that, but I get the sentiment for real. If I sit up all night to watch it and he somehow wins, I'm going to be fucking pissed.
Furious.
Oh man, that would definitely be something. But I just truly don't see. I mean, we know Sean Strickland's path to victory here is not. It's a decision, and it's to outpoint Chimaev. He's going to jab him to death. Keep like, I would say his best case scenario is he jabs him to death, keeps his distance, stop takedowns, and just fights on the outside and hope he lasts all 5 there. But I don't see that happening. I mean, we know Hamzat has a tank. We know that he's going to be relentless with his takedowns. We know that he can strike. So like I don't even see a path of victory. But if you're coming into this, that's going to be Sean's game plan. So if Sean Strickland wins, I think not only one would it be awful because it's Sean Strickland being the champion of that division, but I think 2, it would mean that this fight was boring as hell and we stayed up for absolutely nothing.
I can't even fathom how bad the post-fight interview is going to be if he wins. Like the stuff that's going to come out of his mouth. It would set the sport back. I can't imagine. I can't. I really hope it doesn't happen.
The rest of the card is not bad. Joshua Van, I love watching him fight. He's on this card. Joaquin Buckley's on this card versus Sean Brady. Sean Brady's a local kid. That'll be a fun fight to watch.
Yep.
Jeremy Stevens getting back in the ring. That'll be interesting. The whole card isn't bad.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm definitely a fan of this card here. I mean, it's not a great card by any means, but like this is what your random UFC numbered event should look like. You got, recognizable fights, the first 3 of the main card here, and then you got 2 championship bouts there. So, again, not like I don't think this is come into the year. This is going to be a card where we're like, hey, like I vividly remember 328, like being in, all the anticipation for it. But if you're a UFC fan, I mean, who everybody on this main event is going to be. So I'm definitely looking forward to one of the first ones under Paramount that I'm actually looking forward to watching.
I'm with you. Want to give some predictions on the fights? Gentlemen?
Absolutely.
Where do you want to start? How low you want to go? How about this? Give me your surprise. Like you're like, I don't know, the card, the fight to look out for.
I mean, I think the fight to watch here is going to be Sean Brady versus Joaquin Buckley. I think that has fireworks written all over it. So, I mean, I think as far as entertainment purposes, outside of looking to see Sean get absolutely embarrassed, I think the Sean Joaquin fight is going to be incredible.
I agree. I think Sean Joaquin is. I think it's an exciting fight, and I think it's a good fight. I think you absolutely get your money's worth out of both those guys. I mean, they're going to stand in the middle. They're going to throw, and somebody's going to win, somebody's going to lose. I don't think that's a boring fight at all. Part of me, I would love Chimaev just to walk in and knock him out in like 45 seconds. Like, don't get me wrong. Part of me also wants to see him suffer. So, like, I would love if Chimaev just like toys with him. Like, you're in the zoo and like somebody falls in like the tiger cage, and the tiger just fucks with him for a while before he eats him. Like, I would like to see that. That's my equivalent of what I want to see happen to Sean Strickland.
I want him bloody, beaten.
Oh no! They cut him up and call him and throw him around and everything before they decide to kill him. That's exactly what I'm looking for.
Guys, I'll tell you right now, the fight I'm most looking forward to on the card is not even close. It's Joshua Van versus Tetsuro Tabra. That's going to be a great fight. Can't wait to watch that. Joshua Van's the underdog in that fight. Pay attention.
Wild.
There's another underdog on the undercard that I love. If you don't know who this fighter is, Marco Tullia is the underdog, is the favorite versus one of my favorite fighters, Roman Kopylov. Roman Kopylov is coming off of 2 decision losses. He's fighting a guy that just got knocked out for the first time second time in his career. Just got knocked out just six months ago. I like Kopylov plus 165 to win on the undercard. So look out for Roman Kopylov to win on the undercard. And this is a great card to fight, to bet.
I also think too, like with Kopylov, I think that's a good call out too. You also got to remember that I know one of those losses was against Paulo Costa, and at that point, Roman was on his ascend. Like he had a number next to his name, so he was moving up in competition and things like that. So 2 losses back to back definitely hurts, but let's not forget Roman Kopylov was a fast riser in the division, and he was looking good up until that fight against Paulo. So I think that's a good call out, Gene.
And then, for the main event of the evening, by the way, just to be clear, I'm picking Joshua Van as the upset. I like Joshua Van to fight. Big Joshua Van fan. I'm also taking Sean Brady. I almost have to. It's like a heritage type thing. But for the main event in the evening, I think it gets to the second round. I got Chimaev by second round referee stoppage. I don't have an agenda or anything.
Well, I also have Joshua Van in the co-main there. I do think, Joshua Van is hell of a fighter. The fact that he's an underdog is wild, but does let you know about Tyra and how good that he ultimately is there. In the main, I got Hamzat there as well. I think it's going to be a first rounder, though. I think it's going to ultimately be a submission. I do think he is going to get Sean on the ground there. I don't think we get to see Sean beat up as much as we want to, because I do think he's going to be able to get his back probably pretty early, and I think he's going to be able to put him out.
Love that. Shall we?
I'm sticking with you guys. I'm going with Van. I was a little surprised when I saw the odds myself when I looked it up. I think it's going to be a banger of a fight, though. It's going to be high-paced, high action. Those, again, 2 guys, great tanks. They're going to sit there and go and throw. But I think he retains. And then, I've already made my feelings on Strickland known. You guys you're letting him off the hook with a mercy killing. I want him to suffer.
You say you're going, what, 4th, 5th decision? What are you thinking?
I told you. I hope Chimaev plays with his food. I really do. I'll say 4th. And I just hope he's a bloody mess at the end of that.
I love that. Sorry. Got excited. Let's move on to a little quick baseball update. Well, MLB. Guys, what are we, like 35 games in the most team seasons?
I think
36 games in the most seasons. Give me your biggest surprise and then give me your biggest letdown. 36 games into the season.
And is this going to be like player specific, team specific? What how you want to?
Whatever you want it to be. We'll do team and player if you want.
Okay. I would say that. I don't know.
I'll give you mine because I kind of threw it out there to you guys last minute. I have 2, and I'll just give you one, and if no one says the other one, then I'll give both. But the Oakland Athletics are winning right now the AOS. They're in first place in the division, and they're above 500. I don't remember the last time that's happened. Jacob Wilson's hitting the cover off the ball. Got to give that kid credit. And Nick Kurtz hasn't even played well yet. So
they got a bunch of good young players that they haven't decided to trade yet. So, I mean, this team might hang in it.
That's my biggest surprise for the good. For the bad, I think it's going to be the Boston Red Sox. I expected this Boston team to really compete. Granted, they have won 3 out of their last 5 and their last 2. I felt like this team was better roster constructed. They already fired everyone in the managerial staff. And they're 15-21. I think they're like 13 games out of the division already in April. They say divisions can't be won in April, but they definitely can be lost. Yeah, they're 10 back.
Only 10, but it's still a big number. Surprised to be on the disappointing end. Boston would be tied with me with the Giants. With what they've invested in that team the last couple of years, they're dead last in the division. They're below Colorado right now in the AL West or the NL West. They're in a lot of trouble. Not playing well, not performing well. And then I would agree with G with Boston. The expectations maybe were probably a little too high, if we're being honest. But they were what they were. And they haven't even lived up to anything close to them as of yet. So those will be my 2 for biggest disappointment.
I mean, I think that when you talk about disappointments, like, of course, Boston comes to mind there. I mean, I can stay in the AL East. I'll go with the Blue Jays, and I get it. You know, you lose Bichette, but you're coming off of a World Series run there, and I do think that, while I didn't necessarily pick them to go and win the World Series this year or even make it back to the World Series, but wasn't expecting them to come out as flat as they ultimately started there. As far as like players go with disappointment, you mentioned San Francisco. I think a big part of that is Rafael Devers has not been anywhere close to what you thought he could be when you brought him in there. So I mean, I think him batting, I don't know what he's up to now, but for a big chunk of the year, he was under 200 batting average and was playing absolutely awful. So I would go that route with that. On the good side, though, I'll go with hot name on the show. I'll go with Mike Trout. Mike Trout's been healthy so far throughout this year, and his numbers have definitely been very impressive at this point in the year. It's been a lot of the, Angels lose 6-1 after Mike Trout solo home run kind of thing, but Mike's been playing very, very well to start the year there. And then as far as a team that's surprised me for the good, I mean, I think the Athletics would be easy to say there as well. But yeah, I'll go with the Athletics. Athletics actually winning the AL West, leading the AL West at this point in the year.
I do want to get players. Player that's really broken out this year is 2 of them. Murakami, who basically said, I don't want to play for the Dodgers.
White Sox, yeah.
Fuck them. He's got 14 home runs to start the season. Great start to the MLB season. And also Ben Rice, batting 343 with 12 home runs for the Yankees. That kid looks like the real deal. He's been absolutely raking the cover off the ball. And he's a big part of the reason the Yankees are 26-12. As far as players that have failed, Nick Kurtz. Are you talking about a guy that everyone clamored to have on as the starting first baseman for Team USA? I mean, he's looking at fastballs right down the middle of the plate. Now, he's been way better the last week or so than he was, but the first 3 weeks might have been the worst 3 weeks I've ever seen a superstar have. For such a sure thing, and also another little bit of a disappointment is Connor Griffin. Comes up with all that hype, bro. All that hype. Has a home run in his first game, like he's crushing the ball. And I think his second good game was yesterday or 2 days ago. So Connor would be little bit of disappointment from me also.
I will also say too, and he doesn't fully fall under the disappointment because I mean he is absolutely murdering it on one side of the ball. But from the plate to start the year, Shohei Ohtani. I don't want to say it's been like a disappointment in the fact that you're like, damn, like we're not getting our money's worth out of this guy. But to the extent of you look at Judge and Rice and the kid from Chicago, like all the home runs that they're hitting. I think Shohei's only like batting 230, 240, and he's got like 5 home runs at this point. So not your typical Shohei start, but from the pitching side, I mean, he's looking like he might go win the Cy Young. So I mean, it's just one of those things with him. But I say it's surprising to see him not be.
You could use him on both. Like you could use him as the surprise good and the surprise bad.
For sure.
Like it's crazy. That's how good he is.
Yeah, I mean,
we're looking at the greatest baseball player you ever watched play baseball. That's what you're looking at.
He lost a tough one last night, but I think his ERA is still under 1.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Ben Rice has been, to Gene's point, worth every penny and spot on with what they thought he was going to be. They found somebody that can hit behind Judge, give him protection. I think Nick Kurtz is definitely one that stands out, just because he's been so good in the past. He's just off to a slow start. You hope it turns around. Shohei's kind of a little off kilter at the plate. Mookie's a little off kilter at the plate. It's crazy. Like I feel like I've watched so many Phillies games this year where I usually don't watch them start to finish a ton at the beginning of the year. And this year I have. And I feel like I've watched so many baseball games. And then Gene said, he's like, we're only 35 games. Like there's 130 games left, which is nuts. But, it's there's still a long way to go, man. A lot of time for a lot of these guys to kind of get it together and get back to where they normally are. But, it's been fun. I mean, anytime you watch the little kid, the younger guys play and live up to the hype is great. Then you mentioned, Connor and Pittsburgh. It's tough to come up with that hype and live up to it. And I think he's 20. I mean, it's we'll see what happens there. I still think he's the real deal. You got the Cubs killing it in the Central. Milwaukee's, I think, tied for last with Pittsburgh, but everybody in that division's over 500. A lot of good baseball in that division this year, which is going to be fun. And then my little unknown superstar on the radar, Nico Horner, is having a hell of a year on both sides of the plate. Power numbers picked up a little bit, and he's killing it defensively. He's leading the Cubs right now, so that's fun. But it's going to be we'll have a lot of fun baseball discussions to go. There's a long way to go.
Wow, Connor's had a great last week. He went from 207 to 267.
Yeah, and when you only have 100 at bats, man, you go out one game, go 4 for 5. Your average goes up 20 points in one game. So it's still, like I said, there's still a lot of time for a lot of guys to get back to where they need to be.
The other thing I didn't mention though was the Mets going through that spell that they went through. I mean, I think they very well could be on that disappointing side. I mean, you look at what they've invested into that team and, just into, especially, from the plate side of things there, for them to go out and lose. What did the losing streak ultimately end up at? 13?
12 or 13. Yeah, something like that.
Like that's wild for that bunch there. And again, it's early.
And getting swept by the Rockies at home. I'd never seen that before. That's crazy.
Rocky's got a bunch of no-name players, man. They're playing everybody tough.
All right, guys, let's get into You Gotta Be Kidding Me.
All right, so
I might go and catch the end of this basketball game.
So this week for me, we talked about the NCAA royally screwing up the March Madness tournament. Gene disagrees. I think we all will agree on this one, and the coaches have spoken. The AFCA, which is basically the Coaches Association, um, voted, and they are fully supporting expanding the college football playoff to 24 teams and discontinuing conference championships. I mean,
Um,
it does not take a rocket scientist to figure out how this is going to be awful for the sport. Not only are you expanding it to where you're going to have more blowouts and just more games that people ultimately don't really want to see and non-deserving teams getting into the playoffs, but you're also adding in the fact that we're taking away conference championships. And for what reason are we doing that? I get it that you don't necessarily need it to get into the playoff, but with the playoff sitting at 12, you didn't necessarily need to go. I mean, we saw the number one and the number two team in the bracket were in the same conference championship game. So it's not like it's deterring, anything as far as the brackets go if you're playing well, and you've earned your seating there. So the fact that we're just going to completely get rid of this, when for a lot of teams, like, that's the goal for the season. We're going to go out, we're going to win every game in our conference. We'll probably get the shit kicked out of us non-conference, but we want to be conference champions. So the fact that the NCAA thinks this is the right move just because they can expand the playoff field and again generate more money is just so nearsighted. It's unbelievable. So this week for me, the Coaches Association not being able to see that and fully supporting this new plan to expand the playoffs.
Come on, you gotta be kidding me.
a couple of you can say whatever you want.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna stay in baseball. I'm gonna go to the AL Central, and I'm gonna go to Framber Valdez for his second incident in the last, I don't know, 6 or 7 months. We all recall last year he crossed up his pitcher when he got mad after giving up a home run. Said he didn't call the right pitch. Said it was an accident. Nobody believed him. So yesterday they were playing. Gave up back-to-back home runs against Boston. Next guy comes up, Trevor Story, plunks him. As intentional can be. He says the ball slipped. He said he was trying to come back inside because he just given up back-to-back home runs. If you watch the video, I mean, he throws the ball right at him. This guy, in my opinion, he's kind of almost even had like a fall from grace. You look at where he was 3 or 4 years ago in the World Series, a young pitcher, almost unhittable. His numbers have dropped the last couple of years. Signed a big contract with Detroit this year. Went over there. Ended up being a benches clearing brawl. He has a problem when he doesn't succeed. He's a baby, doesn't know how to handle it. Got his team in a fight yesterday. I applaud AJ Hinch for coming out right after, pretty much burying him. Saying that's not what they do there, and he thought it was intentional. Didn't feel good to be out in the field and defending something like that. You don't see that all the time. And he got suspended today for 5 games, so he's going to miss a start. So, but Framber's turned into an absolute. The guy was on the cusp of being, an elite top 10 pitcher, and he's turned into a big baby now. He just takes everything he does wrong out on other people. Childish, stupid, deserves everything he gets at this point. So this week for me, Framber Valdez.
Come on, you gotta be kidding me.
I think what makes it also funny with the Trevor Story incident is that I think Trevor stole second twice against Framber and he had some sort of tell. I don't know if he was seeing what Framber was doing with his hand or whatever, but there was like a breakdown afterwards that I saw on Twitter, and like essentially Trevor Story was helping give the signs to Red Sox hitters like during the at-bats there. So it just makes it even better, the fact that he gives up 2 home runs, and then of course it's Story that comes up, and for you to say it's not intentional, one, when your pitches have sucked and you've just been laying them out there for him, and then 2, Trevor Story is the guy who you're probably ultimately pissed at is rich. So that just added dynamic to that story.
Guys, I'm going to go back to what I talked about earlier. And I'm going to replay the video because it is that egregious. So let me just pull it up for you guys. Actually, I should probably put the comments first. Hang on. Give me 1 second. I'm going to share it right now. Pardon the fact that I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. All right, let's play the comments first. This is Jaylen Brown.
You know, in basketball, some of y'all might disagree. You know what I mean? But argue with your grandma. Flopping has ruined our game. Joel Embiid is a great player, one of the best bigs in basketball history. Flops. He know it. This ain't breaking news. I mean, this is my personal opinion on basketball. Some of y'all might.
Okay. Well, I just made Jaylen Brown. You obviously don't flop. Let's just show the video. Let's watch this play here.
You know, in basketball, some of y'all might disagree. You know what I mean? But argue with your grandma. Flopping has ruined our game. Joel Embiid is a great player, one of the best bigs in.
Jaylen Brown went on his podcast whining about flopping and then had the worst flop of the night. Hey, Jaylen, maybe instead of doing all this complaining, let's play better basketball. You had a great chance to win this game, and what did you do? You choked it away in the final minute. Let's review exactly what Jaylen said.
Flopping has ruined our game. Joel Embiid is a great player, the best bigs in fucking basketball history. Flops.
All right, Jaylen, so flopping's ruined the game, and Joel Embiid is the only one that flops, apparently. But this is you becoming the man you swore to destroy, and this is not the only example we have played. The other day, did you not hit a pump fake and then elbow Paul George in the sack and then go up for the shot right after? Like, was that not what you did? Let's be honest with ourselves. The reason you guys lost that game down the stretch was because you didn't make any shots. You and Derek White, and then Tyrese Maxey went off against you guys. Joel Embiid was literally crawling limb for limb across the court and still giving you guys buckets. He absolutely balled out, and there's no denying it. But you, on the other hand, were passing the ball out of bounds to nobody. You thought Jason Tatum was right here. So next time, instead of going on your stream and talking smack about the entire other team and the refs, let's take a little bit of accountability, Jaylen. Let's be better in game sevens when it matters most, instead of missing all of our shots down the stretch and choking. Jaylen Brown went on his
Watch his flop, though.
podcast whining about flopping and then had the worst flop of the night. Hey, Jaylen, maybe instead of doing all
That's the flop I need. I mean, his comments are perfect, but Jaylen Brown was trying to get Joel Embiid teed up by diving on the ground. I thought there was a rule, an anti-flopping rule in the NBA. That wasn't called. Tyrese Maxey had the first three, anybody can look it up. The first three fouls of the game by Maxey, not one of them was a foul. You can watch the replay. He doesn't touch him. They could have used a challenge on any one of the three and won easily. And then Jaylen Brown's got the nerve to say the referees in games 5, 6, and 7 had an agenda against the Celtics. Dude, stop it. Knock it off. You're embarrassing yourself. You guys are the better basketball team. You guys are the better basketball franchise. We haven't beaten you guys in 30 or 45 years. So this week, Jaylen Brown.
Come on, you gotta be kidding me.
Any final thoughts, gentlemen?
Got what was coming to him on that one. I don't even know why you. I think that's what you want to say. That's probably a conversation that you'll wait until the summer to do. Because coming out and just doing it right after the series ends, when, again, not the reason why you lost the series, is definitely crying over spilt milk.
Shally, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, just like you said, I mean, he's too good of a player to air that out and just have that be, how you remember him for the rest of the offseason. Like I said, there's a million other things you could point at in that game why they lost the series. But understand you probably, a day later you're still pissed, still emotionally all charged up and everything else, and unfortunately, people decide to go on social media. I still don't understand it, but I think you say dumb things that are going to be replayed over and over forever. So, it's going to suck for him.
Well, guys, that's all we got today. The Sixers are in the third quarter in a tie game in the playoffs, and I'm a 76ers fan. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to Wire2Wire Sports Podcast. I'm the NFL genius, Gene Wolzek. That's Kent State's own Cleveland's own college control, Uncle Shally, Scholastic Shally, Mr. William Shawcross, and we are signing out.